Victorious Kids has got again one of the top 6 in the globe. How do you like that? It's been a lot of effort from everyone, everybody put together. We got a lot of work to do, and it's not easy. You're realizing it now, today being a parent. The more the time that you can interact with kids, the more one-to-one time that you spend, every investment that you give, it will flourish, it will come up. I'm going to show, it is like, supposing you want to learn sitar. You will go to a master and you will start practicing them. The more time that you put in your practices, the better the result. When you do a display in front of the audience, same thing is over here in parenting. There are certain golden rules which has been laid down in the Vedanta, and today you'll be very happy to hear the Western world is also talking about it. What is the first golden rule? Have you noticed when the neighbor's child comes to you, the neighbor's child like Khushi, how do you deal with that child? That 3, 4, 5 years old, how do you talk to that child? Your voice changes, have you noticed? Hi baby, how are you? Where you always come? But how do you talk to your baby? The first golden rule is treat your sons and daughters as neighbors' sons and daughters. A caution, don't treat your husband as neighbor's husband. You have to be very careful. It's only applicable to the children, okay? And the second golden rule is inspect
that what you have been expecting. Meaning, supposing you want to expect a great result in your child, inspect that you would, provided you have been expecting it. Generally what you and I do, we are very good parents, but in our exuberance to be good, we are doing what? We're always telling them, don't do this, don't do that. Yeah? So this don't do this and don't do that makes it, you'll be surprised, a world study was carried out and something like about 6,000 average study was done in that research. They found the average time a parent spends with a child from birth to 15 years of age. You'll be amazed to hear. It's, you know, in the initial time the baby is always with you. As seeing, it is for that age group around 7, 8, 9, 10 onwards, they start it starts to develop more away from you. And when they are about 15, 16, 17, 18, remember you and I have been through, suddenly what happens? The neighbor's boy understands me better than my mother and father. Doesn't it happen? No, that girl, neighbor's girl knows me better. Why is this separation? This separation takes place because at the time that you're supposed to do the bonding, you have not done adequately. So there is bonding or fraying. It's fraying away. And that bonding happens the more the time that you spend with your child. And that spending is not keep on feeding them, or just sleep with them, or just carry them in your lap. Sure, do that too, but restrict it little bit. What should you do? Let them be. I'll give you an example of, I will not tell the name because mommy is sitting with you, but she is a very good mommy. She understands. This child has grown up here from tiny baby's age. I will not tell you the name, the age of the baby either, because you all are very smart in putting 2 and 2. This baby is to always love writing and come and show it to me. Sir, see what have I done? And I used to say, very nice. Now for about 2-3 months, she has not been coming to me. I was wondering, why is she not coming? And lo behold, about a week ago, I hear observation that the champion is not doing that well. I am not going to tell you who is the child, who is the mother. But what happened is, exuberance of you and me, we tend to make the child perfect. But we are not realizing where it is an ambition to be perfect, an ambition to make them what they are, which is perfection. Meaning, you are perfect. Your child is perfect. Just now, few minutes ago. That's why I got a little late. I got late for 2 counts. One was I heard only 6 parents have come. So the core team said, sir, just give them another 5-10 minutes. And the second was this parent also walked in. She was wanting to know that should he continue with the DP or should he go to something else? And I said the same thing. What I'm trying to tell you, the message is, you see, the children over here, when they grow up in this school, many of you mothers I can see have been here for a very long time. They are, number one, totally different than the other children. They're different kinds. And those of you who've been here just, I will say 6 weeks and more, you will realize it. Even new admissions, 6 weeks and more, will start to realize that they're different, they're talking different, their courage is different, their challenging you is different. They will challenge you. Why? But notice, this why is the reason what makes people great. Have you ever reflected upon it? See, millions and millions have seen the apple fall, but only one person asked, why did it fall? Robbin, a Nobel Prize winning physicist, was asked, why did you become a physicist instead of a doctor or an engineer? He said, my mother made it. And that's why I'm talking to you. That's why this is the only school where you will have parental workshops continuously, teachers training every day, on the job training. Why? Because unless you and I professionally develop ourselves, we will lag behind and the world will race ahead. So, this professional development of the parent, of the children, of the teachers, everybody inclusive, must continue to be so. Now, this child is intellectually far ahead, doing very well, brilliant, really brilliant. But the mental thinking about that, which is as per the age group, is still not come up to say I can handle the so-called a little hostile world outside. There is a lot of criticism. Somebody will tell you, Is that the way you spell Mesopotamian, you monkey, you Gada? Remember you and I, how many of us were called Gada in our school? I remember I was in 5th grade and my teacher Anil sir, he was fond of me, but he used to also tease me because I was also the most mischievous boy in the class. So whenever I would do something wrong, I don't remember what kind of wrong things I used to do, must have distracted the class. But I remember, which I have not forgotten, he used to make me stand up on the bench. And when I used to stand up on the bench, he will come to me and he will tell everybody, hey everybody, look how tall he is. And everybody would laugh. And I used to say in my mind, I'll show you one day. You know, just before the 10th exam, those days exam 10th standard is the ultimate, no? So my father and mother were asking, he said, him, don't ask me. I had not been studying what I should have been doing. So naturally everybody was worried, my mother especially. So my mother sent me, understand this, these things that I'm talking to you is actually happened. You take lessons from them. Don't make them happen in your life. It may have happened in your life too. My father used to tell my mother, don't worry, just watch what he will become. He was very fond of me. I was his favorite child out of 5 sons and 1 daughter. My mother got worried. He said, what do you mean he will be alright? He's not studying, exam is just another 24 odd days, less than a month. So my mother sent me with my elder brother to an astrologer. Astrologer, I still remember, he was blind and his daughter was reading out the horoscope. And as she read it out, he was doing like this. So my brother asked, what happened? He said he is going to fail. I got up and I came out. The brother also got up and said, what are you doing? Don't be disrespectful. You should be sitting there. I said, for what? He said, I'm going to fail. He said, come here, come inside. He was trying to cajole me inside. I said, I'm not going inside. He said, come on, be sensible, be respectful. He's blind. I said, what blind? I feel like slapping him. He said, shut up, don't talk like that. So I quietly, very grudgingly, out of my respect for my elder brother, went in, sat there very grudgingly, and I said, I'll show you. You know, from that day, for the next, I think 24 days, I didn't sleep more than 2 or 3 hours. My mother was supplying me continuous something or the other through the night. Mother also didn't sleep. Great mothers are like that, no? You want? You all do that. And you know what? I didn't stop. I was number 3 in our state. What did I do? But what do I remember? You and I have all stood in the class, did reasonably well. We studied Charles' law, Boyle's law, Faraday's law, Ohm's law. Do you remember anything? What good is that education? Another thing, understand, what's the difference, core value in which your child is becoming, sir, blooming well. Why? Understand. You and I have been through the schools. We learned how to write. We know how to write. How many adults do you know? Include your husband, wife, include your parents, include your brothers, sisters, professionals, parents, and doctor, professor, teachers. How many do you know? Think. Who loves to write? Loves to write. Can't sleep without writing. How many do you know who loves to read? What happened? India, country of Vedas and Vyasa and Upanishads and Gita and Puranas, don't like to write? Don't like to read? Isn't it something sad? Look at us. We learned 3 things in the school, which some of your children are doing now. Learning to write, learning to read, and learning to do arithmetic, numbers. There are going to be some snacks for you all. Please have while I am continuing to talk, okay? Just think you are watching TV, having a TV dinner. Okay? So, we learn to do 3 R's: writing, reading, arithmetic. By pronunciations, it's 3 R's. Writing, reading and arithmetic, mathematics. We learn to do addition, subtraction, multiplication. What happened? We don't like to write, we don't like to read, and we don't like mathematics either. We know how to add, we know how to subtract, we know how to divide, but our mathematics is only when we look at our pay slip, we look at our bank statement, we look at our budget, today's budget, or we look at share market. That's all is a run for the number. We don't like mathematics for fun. Why did it happen? And this is what I was talking to the mother I was referring to a little while ago, and ma'am is here. She's one of our wonderful moms. That what happened, mother was wanting the child to write more. You know what happened? Just what has happened to you and me. Why is it you and I don't like to write? Because when we made one spelling mistake, we were told write it 100 times. Haven't we all done it? All of us have done it. When you wanted your handwriting to be better, you were told write 10 pages every day and you will become a good girl, good boy. We did that obediently. Have we become good girl, good boys? We don't even like to write. The moment the child has a choice, either as a child or as an adult, particularly adult, the moment we know we don't have to, we say, I choose not to. Is the same thing goes with drinking milk with cream, or spinach, or carrots. Out of respect and love for mommy, we may have eaten. Yesterday one of our relative boy came down from Mumbai. The father and mother has been very fond of us. Said, let this boy, 13-year-old, go around the school, learn something, listen to you. He spent a day with us. Whenever any food will come, he'll do like this and say, I don't want this, I don't want that. I kept quiet, guessed, no? After a while I said, monkey, come here. You get out of this, otherwise soon enough your nose is going to be like that. You want that? Whatever God gives it to you, through mother, through hotel, through restaurant, remember, it is God giving it to you. Your mommy and daddy is supervising it, either directly or remote control. Receive it with grace. Be grateful to God. Whatever I receive, I must eat. Don't do like that. That's a very bad quality. What happened? This champion child is brilliant in his POI, in a program of inquiry. Brilliant. He is the number 1 in the class. He is very good in mathematics. Very good in writing in the class too, but not wanting to write at home. And poor mommy is taken for a ride. Anytime mommy will want to write, child says, I don't want to write. Why? My spelling is not good. Who's told us spelling is not good? Unfortunately, mommy, without knowing, has said that to her. Beta, this is not correct, write it like this. Nicely. But what is the child getting message? I am not okay. And this is exactly what you must not. You must appreciate the child for everything. So I gave the mother the example of my daughter. Medha ma'am, 10th standard. By the way, 8th standard, she wrote something beautiful and came and showed it to me on Saturday evening and said, look at this. I looked at it. She calls me sir. Sir, but I have a lot of spelling mistakes. I said, shut up. Who told you that? I know it. I said, who told you? No, I know it. I said, listen, it is not important if you make spelling mistakes. But what is important is you should love to, want to write. And do you know, it took me a little while to get her out of that. I showed her, introduced her to the Word document, how she can know easily that which is, how to recognize wrong spelling from the right spelling. You know, the Word document tells you. And today, after her morning meditation, you will see her first thing in the morning, after her morning exercise and meditation. We do that right from morning 4 o'clock. She's writing every day. In her 10th standard project, it's a very special thing. Those of you not from 10th, in IB 10 and 11 or 12, this project writing is like a thesis, like a PhD thesis that you do. It's like that. It's a tremendous work. Now, 10th standard child can choose anything as a project. Can be maybe make a scientific structure, do something with robotics, do something with maybe service to the poor community, anything. She chose, you know what? Writing memories. How do you like that? She not only did that, she's not only writing her memories, she is requested those who are close friends and relatives, wrote to everybody, please write your best memories. And she is making a book now. And she is very excited about it. So what's happening? She is becoming a writer. Can you see how it is going on? But it took a little time to override. This champion daughter, she stopped coming to me for about 6 weeks, maybe 2 months or so. I was wondering, I used to see her almost 2-3 times in a week coming and showing me, sir, what have I done? Look at it. Why is she not coming? So I started inquiring and I found out. So we had a little discussion. Mommy on her own came down and said, I want to meet, and then we talked about it. You know what? Instant results. Next day morning, she's again back with 4 pages written. Sir, look what I've done. And then she said one thing very nice. She said, but sir, I have a lot of spelling mistakes. I said, shut up. Who told you you got spelling mistakes? You don't have spelling mistakes. It doesn't matter. What matters, you've written, my God, such beautiful handwriting. So what's the golden rule? Appreciate. Expect what you want to inspect. You want to see her a good writer? First, you write. Even if you hate writing, most of us hate writing, I know that. No? Even if you do, act. Do an acting, little acting. Let's write. You just watch. Magic will happen. You know what? After that, every day she is carrying to me. Yesterday she not only came and showed it to me, I just started to have lunch. She came down and I said, you also join? She said, no, I've had my lunch. I said, okay. She said, I'll sit with you. I said, okay. She was sitting and talking to me for almost 15-20 minutes. Then I said, Monkey is missing out classes as a champion. Now you go off, you meet me before you go home. She came back to me and she carried a book back with her. That was a mark of. So what we doing? Exciting her to do that. You think about that. So happy parents make happy kids. Who's happy? You are. Every parent is happy parent. Every teacher is a happy teacher. But somehow we think, I'm not okay. I can do better. Sure, thinking about I can do better is a great idea. Because perfection has no limit. It's a great idea. But don't make it condemn you. Have you realized we are our best friends? If somebody pinches you, somebody hurts you, somebody slaps you, you're the one who gets hurt more. But along with that, Have you realized? You're your worst enemy. You massacre yourself. And what happens? Head goes down, back is broken. Somebody has to pick you up like that. So you be that. You know Stephen Covey, a very famous personal motivator, 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. You've read that? Somebody went and told Stephen, you know, whenever I talk to you, I feel so charged up. I must meet you every day just for 5 minutes so that you can kick me at the back and I'm alright for the rest of the day. Stephen said, sure, it's a great idea. But listen, how long do you want me to kick you? Why don't you learn to kick yourself? And in a crude way, we have to be the self-motivator. And you as the mommy and the daddy, you are the motivator for your child. The child looks at you, most important mother, and then the father. Why? Why is it mother? Why are we being partial? We are not partial. This universe has created us like that. Because that's why the baby spends more time with the child. The baby spends more time as a child with the parent, mother. Mother is the one who is carrying. Mother carries the baby not just till the baby comes up in walkable age. Mother carries that baby also when the baby is 40 years old. Now, through the mother's eye, you look at yourself as a tall and as a giant. So that's the golden rule of the parenting with which we'll continue with the rest. Words are meant to create silence. Your words are very powerful. You've heard about the word Pranava Dhvani, Omkar Dhvani, Anahat. Anahat is sound which comes out without ahat. Ahat is this. So this sound which is coming up is because of striking. I'm striking, so I'm getting noise. If I take out a stick and strike, there will be a noise. That is sound because of the ahat. But anahat is without striking the sound which comes in. That is the God created sound. Omkar Dhvani is continuously on. And those of you who practice a little bit of yoga with us on Sunday, I give you just 24 days, just 3 to 4 weeks, you will hear. Right now there is so much of Omkar Dhvani going on. You know, the moment you walk into a house, either you will hear it or you hear the absence of it. You may not hear the Omkar Dhvani, but you notice sometimes when you walk into your neighbor's home, and as soon as you walk in, they're greeting you with a nice smile, please come. But as soon as you walk in, you know they have been having a fight. Don't you come to know? How did you know? You have that sense. But finer a sense of that sense, you will hear the Omkar. The moment the absence of Omkar, you know this structure is not okay. This house is not okay. You will come to know. This sound, the words which was created from the sound, were meant to create silence in your heart, in your mind, in your consciousness, in your chetana. You're supposed to be peaceful. If the words make you get agitated, angry, frustrated, depressed, two things, please know. One, you're creating bad effects. When you're telling your child your handwriting is not good, you do not know how to dress up properly, you do not know how to talk properly, you're creating bad effects. Because action opposes an equals reaction. You know the laws of thermodynamics, physics, laws of forces, you remember? Action opposes equals reaction. That is one. And the second, that is going to not only come back to you, is going to affect that person for a very long time, maybe lifelong. So refrain from hurting people with our beautiful tongue. You notice? Somebody tells you, you're looking so beautiful, so smart, very good. And then he or she tells you, but what is that on your nose today? And you will immediately say, why? What's wrong? You've forgotten all the nice thing he said. You're looking smart, you're looking beautiful, what a beautiful dress. You've forgotten. Now you say, what's wrong? You go to the mirror, you go to your husband and wife and something wrong with my nose? So what happens? You tend to remember only the negative things. You forget all the good things. It has happened to you and me. You remember every bad thing your teacher told you when you were a Chinese child. But you've forgotten all the good things that they told you. You take it. Good thing. My Jupiter is in my 9th house. So, words are meant to create silence. Speak unto others as you would like others to speak unto you. You want others to love you, care for you, be kind to you, be appreciative to you. Do that. If you do that, how can it not come back to you? Madhur Vachan. It should be a prayer. Not give me, God, give me a great house, give me a great car, give me great love for each other. All those things are good, nice, sure, pray. Also pray. God, give me devotion. Give me sweet words so that I can help people. You don't have to be, understand this, you don't have to be fraudulent about it. Don't be fraud. If you walk into a house which is very shabby, looking all clothes are strewn around, and you walk in and say, what a beautiful home you got, they will say, fraud guy. Don't be fraud. But you will always find beauty in people, beauty in children, if you look for beauty in children. If you look for what is wrong, then you will be like, don't mind my words, but reflect upon it. You will be like a vulture, flying high up, but looking down only at the rotten flesh. Be like the eagle. Eagle is also flying high up at the same level, but they're looking at life. They're looking at motion. They're looking at change. You understand? Whatever you wish or want, give it first. You want love, you have to give love first. Generally what we say, if my husband and wife, if my boyfriend, girlfriend loves me, then I will love them. And love doesn't have to be related to the body. Love is eternal. Love is infinite. You notice the moment you think of love, you think about Buddha, you think about Jesus Christ, you think about Mother Teresa, you think about Guru Nanak, Guru Gobind Singh, Paramahansa, Ramana Maharshi. Don't you? Love, meaning you think of Jesus, Mother Teresa. That is love. That is, this love is what love? The physical love is expectation, gratification of senses. Which is this love? Unconditional love. What is that love? It's very simple. It's not complicated. And don't think I can't do it. If you just make an effort, you would. What is that love? This love is seeing God in the person in front of you. Seeing God in the person next to you. If you see God in your husband and wife, can you fight with her? Can you fight with him? How can you fight with God? The way you beg, you can beg. Like you say, God, please, please, please. You can do that. That's no problem. But notice one thing, understand this. There's a very important message. Depending on how you and I see ourselves, how you and I see ourselves. And how do we see ourselves? It depends on how our mommy and daddy saw ourselves. So we learn to see ourselves like that, like the way teachers and our friends saw us. That's how we see ourselves. Depending on how we see ourselves, we see God that way too. You say, how can it be? But this is Vedanta. It is so. How you see yourself is how you see God. So if you see yourself limited, you see God also limited. So what happens? It happens something like this. You go to a king to get something and go to king, wait in a long queue. There are a lot of people ahead of you now. And once they've all finished, your turn comes and you say, King, Maharaj, Jai Ho, please give me 2 dozens of banana. You notice you are laughing. So what did you do? You limit yourself to 2 dozens of banana. Your expectation is 2 dozens of banana. So what is happening? You and I from God is asking only those limited things. But if you see yourself as infinite, even if you don't, at least pretend, start acting. How is it we don't? You know why we don't? We spend hell of a lot of time in taking care of our body and looking good. You spend a lot of time in appearance. But what is this? A beautiful girl, a handsome man. What are we made of? We made of the flesh, the bone marrow, the blood. It is the same with everyone. Whether we are black or whether we are white, under the skin everybody is red, isn't it? Think of it that way. I'm not saying don't make yourself look good. Understand it. I'm saying see God within you. Automatically you cannot make yourself shabby. But what are you doing it for? Who are you doing it for? For God. You're not doing because I, Robbin, Ghosh, want to look smart. When you speak a word, before you speak, pray silently first thing in the morning and last thing at night. God, please give me sweet words. Please give me words which carries and changes people. Please speak through me. I'm your child. Why wouldn't happen? It would. So what is the loss? Everything is possible. Everything. Dada Vaswani used to say, don't say impossible. Because impossible is, I am possible. So everything is possible. Look at it this way. If a thought has come to you, because it is supposed to happen. In a long time ago, I remember still same Anil sir. He was a good teacher with some of the wrong things. So what? He came down to the class and he said, okay, boys and girls, what do you want to become when you grow up? And now our system was like this. 2 rows were sitting, and at those days, those who would stand first will sit on the number 1 chair, and it was written number 1, 2, 3 like that. So you know automatically your ranking in the class. And those days it was based on that. How much marks, how much ranking. How accurately do you remember the information, the problem and things like that. So generally me and Chandra, we used to do contests with each other, and I became a little bad somewhere around 8, 9, 10. Started to think I'm too good, and that's why my parents got worried. My father didn't lose hope. Notice my father kept saying, Mommy, just watch, he'll show it to you. And 5th grade, it just so happened that particular day, it used to be a weekly test. I stood first, so I was in the number 1 chair. He asked me, yes, Robbin, tell me, I said, sir, I want to be a forest officer. He said, why forest officer? Now, we come from a zamindar family where we used to go out for hunt, shikar. Every Saturday, Sunday we used to out. My father was very fond of shooting. I was very fond of shooting and I was very good at it. So I said, sir, I was about 10, 9, 10. I want to be a forest officer because I can kill all the animals. They are readily available to me. Just imagine, I didn't have this knowledge. Nobody taught me that forest officer duty is to save animals and not kill them. I didn't know it. Every changes that you find in this school is because what parents and us have been through, we don't want those mistakes to happen here. So everybody laughed. It went on to, everybody said something or the other. And it came that to Chandra, who was number 2, who came last because he was on my left. And he traveled like that and came back. Chandra stood up and Chandra said, sir, I want to be a fighter pilot. So I immediately looked up at him and he said, what's a fighter pilot? He said, you don't know? So Anil sir said, tell everybody. Because he was standing there, no? He heard Chandra saying, you don't know? So he said, tell everybody. He said, it's a very difficult thing, very complicated. Your life is always at risk and you're going deep into the enemy aircraft. You're fighting with the enemy and you're tossing and turning in there. And my hair stood up. I said, it sounds too good. After Chandra sit down, and as Anil sir was about to begin, I again got up. He said, yes, Robbin. I said, sir, I am changing mine. Everybody laughed. I said, sir, I want to become a fighter pilot. You know what? I got Chandra's photograph today. I'll show it to you. He did not become fighter pilot. He became a diploma engineer, was working in the state electricity board in West Bengal. I was talking to him and they're all amazed. I said, you monkey, you're the one who made me fighter pilot. Because from that day, I said, I have to become this. Everything is possible. All you have to do is just think of it. Think of your baby. Think of your son. Think of yourself. Think of your husband and wife. How can it not? Your children are not your children. They are the sons and the daughters of life longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. You all have come through that door, from the lift door or the staircase door. Can the staircase door now say, you belong to me? Same way, you are the door as the mommy and the daddy, through which the life is expressing itself to the world outside. Child may be brilliant. Child may appear to be at this moment not brilliant. Child may at this moment little to be less than brilliant. It doesn't matter. You are the door. You are to express, understand this, you are to express the divinity through that child. That's why you are the parent and the teacher. Seeing divinity through the child is parenting, is schooling. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. This is On Children by Khalil Gibran. It continues. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts. What do you and I do? We start giving them our thoughts. This is not good, that is not good. Don't do like this, don't do like this. Have you realized what you say is not good, the other guy says is good? No? I'll give you an example. In India, you welcome people with sugar, isn't it? And when they go away, you give them sugar, right? Meetha kha ke jao, shubh shubh bolo. You say that, no? You know what they do in Russia? They give you salt. If you give salt in your home, you add it. You say, why are you upset with me? That's what your friends, your brother sisters will also tell you. What's wrong with you? See how we think different? See, it doesn't matter. You don't give your thoughts. For they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls. You have housed their body. You've given the birth. You house their body by the house. the shelter that you provide. For their souls dwell on the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit even in your wildest of dreams. You cannot be in the child, the way they look at the world. You may strive to be like them, but don't make them like you. Why do you want another one like you? Think. Isn't one Vaishali enough? Why do you want another Vaishali in the world? Why do you want another Robbin Ghosh in the world? Isn't one enough? But have you noticed, even I take great pride and say, oh, ye to mere hi par gaya hai. She is just like me. And you feel, oh, at least somebody is like me. Why do you want a copy? For life goes not backward nor tarries with yesterday. You are the bow. You know the bow and the arrow? You are the bow through which your children as living arrows is sent forth. So you are the bow, they are the arrows, they are the living arrows. You send them into life. You are preparing them now as a parent, as a teacher. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite. You know the goal, you know the target. So you send the living arrow towards that goal. Which is that? Not getting 2 houses, one in America, one in India, not owning 6, 7 cars, not having some good 2 children and husband and wife. It's far beyond that. When you worship Saraswati, Lakshmi will run after you. It's a metaphor. If you worship Saraswati, you are automatically wise and brilliant. How can it be Lakshmi will not be after you? After all, she will give to those who do better, know better, speak better, isn't it? And he bends you with his might, that his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending be the archer's hand, is for gladness. What is this? Bending of the archer's hand. Think for a second. You are the bow, you are the mother or the father, you are the bow. The arrow is the living arrow, is the child. But just think, sir, ma'am, who is pulling? This is the bending of the archer's hand. Who is the archer? Who is the archer? For even as he, notice H with a capital, loves the arrow that flies, as he loved also the bow that is stable. If you try to shoot the arrow and the bow is shaking, what will happen? So you don't become a mommy or a daddy or a teacher as a shaking one. Shaking is who? Who doesn't have faith. It's a great message. Those of you like, you can take this poem from me. Parents as role models, teachers as role models. We need to walk what we talk. Whatever I am talking, if I can't live it, is garbage. But I must first live it as parent. If I say, I want to teach my children, don't tell lies, I must make it an effort that never in my life have I spoken lies. At least do it from the time when the child is with you. I have, with a great honor, I can tell you, more than 33 years I have not spoken a single lie. And you know, when you don't tell lies, what happens as per Vedanta? After 12 years, you develop a special nerve in medulla oblongata just behind your neck, which connects you direct to the universe. And you know what that means? Whatever you say will happen. God will make sure it happens. So if you say, bless you my child, you will be winner, how can it be that you will not be winner? Because you have spoken. Even if he was a lost case, he will now be a winner. Even if he can't speak and wants to speak, you say, don't worry, he will speak. He will speak. Because you have spoken. God will make sure. This is Vedantic truth. Know it to be true. Believe it to be true. And live it and see, watch how it happens. We spend too much time trying to look beautiful, I told you. Try to make our nature beautiful. You know what? You will automatically look beautiful. If you look carefully, Mother Teresa's face, it doesn't look beautiful apparently. But look at her, she's glowing. I don't know if you've seen Paramahansa Ramakrishna's picture, or Ramana Maharshi's picture, or Buddha. You know, Buddha used to be very short. But do you know, today, the largest number of effigies, the statues made in the world are of Buddha. Do you know, almost every home in the world has got a Buddha statue. And you know what, the parody? When he was alive, he told his disciples, don't make a statue out of me. I don't want you to make a statue of me. And look, the whole world is, and you know, the largest statues in the world are Buddha statues. Mahavir Jain statues. He didn't want. He didn't wear any clothes, but do you know, he used to glow so much, you couldn't see his body. You only saw light. I'm talking about that. Invest on yourself. Can you do it? You bet you can. Vivekananda's words, Vedantic truth. It is not the birthright of Vivekananda, Buddha or Jesus. To be Vivekananda, Buddha, Jesus, your and my birthright too. We can. Start with what? Act, pretend, practice. Start practicing. It will happen. You know, my handwriting is very good. I know it now. When I was about, I think, 6 years of age, my mother used to do the same thing, hold my hand and make me write like many of you have done. And I was a kind of a person who didn't like pushing. I used to hate writing. I didn't want to write. My mother one day had a big list of complaints. My father walked in and mother said, do you know, and mother was telling. Father was still standing. I still remember the scene. He was holding his briefcase and he was looking at me and he was smiling. And then he said, mark you, my mother is very angry. And my father said, him? Not possible. So what happened? My father went up in my eyes there, and my mother was bad in my eyes. No, it's happened to you and me too. But something must have transpired between the two of them, because next day morning before leaving, my father gave me a book. You know, one of those cursive writing books, and gave it to me and said, just write. You know, those days it used to be 6 lines of writing in one page. On top, about this much space was one nice writing. Copy that and write about 6 lines. Nowadays you find little more numbers. He said, I want you to write 1 page. When I come back I will see it. That's it. Can you imagine? I was 6 years, I had never joined schools. This is the gift of the Britishers. Little later I'll cover it with you. How did it happen? Whereas India was famous from mother's womb, Abhimanyu concept of learning. India was famous for Rama and Lakshmana learning from the age of 6 weeks as per Yoga Vasishta Shastra, as per Ramayana. I didn't even go to school till 6. I must have become a monkey obviously. But that day I said, I had to prove myself to my father, and I wrote 6 pages, not one, and I wrote with a lot of care. I was waiting, pacing up and down, when will father will come? And as he was walking up the staircase, I was shouting, I've done it, I've done it, I've done it. He walked in, he said, okay, okay, I will see. And it was after the first room, it was a big bungalow. Second room was where our study table. So on that the notebook was lying, and I said, see, see, see. So he picked it up, he looked at it, and he looked at my mother, and you know what he said? Why did you help him? It is not his handwriting. I said, of course it is, I have written. He said, not possible, this is too good. I said, Papa, I have written. He said, and mother was smiling. You know what? From that day, I made it a point, I have to prove it to my father I am a good writer. And my handwriting became good. Today, even today when I write, I take pains to write it well. I don't write just like that. I'll make sure that I write it well. Where did it come from? From you. You is who? Father and the mother. Who gave it to me? The father gave it to me. Understand it. We spend much less, almost none, in doing interior decoration, build inner beauty. There is a word for it. Human excellence. Not hatred, anger, jealousy, greed, small-mindedness, stupidity, but love, compassion, care, empathy, kindness, charity. Give it, whatever you have. If somebody comes and says, nice dress, you say, like it? Okay. Either buy one and give it to her, or give your own, depending on what's your relationship. The deepest desire in parents' heart is to see one's child achieve success, isn't it? Every teacher, every parent, every mother is a teacher, every father is a teacher. And every teacher is an aspiring to be a good teacher. In this, see the perfection ahead before it happens. Visualize it, pray for it. How can it not happen? The deepest desire will come true, but often what we think is the desire of perfection means success, and success means how much money in the bank. What kind of a car does he drive? What clothes do they wear? What restaurants do they visit? Now that is pure material. I am not saying, please understand, don't earn money. Sure, you should earn through the honest means. There is a beautiful saying. It is better to ask God for money than worldly people for money. You and I tend to do that. We ask, who? Local corporator, please come and do udghatan so that my business can run. You are asking who? A fraud guy to come and support you. Ask God, and if God wants the corporator to come, he will come. If he happens to be good, God will send him to you. Know this, build this connection, the link. This link, if you have, you will see, and it is today, many of our devotees and my own experience, if you travel, you will never find the railway bridges down, it's always up. Road for you. You will never find the red signal, traffic light, you will find green light on. You will never find, mark the word, your mobile lost. You'll find somebody will say, I kept it for you. It happened to me. You know the lifestyle store, they had opened at that time near MG Road that there's a, I don't know, what is it called? The lifestyle store had opened. I had gone down there and I'm a member. So I had given them the card and I kept the mobile and I was talking. I forgot to pick up my mobile and came away. And I realized after about 15-20 minutes, such a busy store. So I asked the man, ring up that number, let's see if somebody picks up. And somebody picked up. He said, yes. I said, I'm so and so, I just left my mobile. Who's this? He said, oh sir, I'm the salesperson who gave you that. Please come and pick it up. I kept it for you. You know, I don't know if you've heard about Rudraksha. It's supposed to be a very powerful something as per the ancient Indian way. And there are many types of Rudrakshas. Very expensive and extremely rare to find round one mukhi Rudraksha. Many of you know about it. If you go to the internet, you will not see one round face, single face Rudraksha. You will find all oblong. They are not Rudraksh, they are something else. They are called Vadraksh. Rudraksh single face is very rare. The cost varies between, you will be surprised to hear, 24 lakhs to 51 lakhs, one bead. Just so happened, in Durga Puja time, I was invited to have the prasad there. So we finished prasad and we came back. And when I came back, I found my Rudraksha chain was broken and one of the one mukhi was missing. I counted it. I had 33 of them. So I lost one. I felt very sad and I immediately prayed. I said, how can it be? It has to be there. They search everywhere. We don't know where I lost it. They search everywhere in the house. Then suddenly I got a message. Go down to the Durga Puja Mandap. Where you ate, tell them to search for it. So I said, I'll go. Sadhu ma'am said, no, you don't have to go. I'll go. I said, no, you also don't go. You send these boys. So we had 2-3 boys. I told them, you go down there where I was eating, go and see. Notice I had this confidence. You know, they went and found it actually where I was sitting, it was just below. There is one, it happened here, which is this Ranka Jewelers and all that. So we had gone down there for some, looking at some jewelry. And as we were walking around, I suddenly found something hard below my foot. So I moved my foot and I found a Rudraksha. I said, whose Rudraksha is this? I picked it up and I found it's an 8-mukhi Rudraksha. I've been doing research on it for close to 40-42 years on Rudraksha. I said, 8-mukhi Rudraksha lying over here? And I told Shada, man, look, what did I find? 8-mukhi Rudraksha. Shada ma'am has also got 8-mukhi Rudraksha. So she immediately checked. And she said, mine is missing. And just see, hers missing came under my foot in such a heavily rushed stone. I'm talking about that world. Get onto that world. It's waiting for you and me. There's deepest desire. Most people assume that success is essentially material, that it can be measured in money, prestige and an abundance of possessions. These certainly can play a role, but having them does not guarantee of success. Success is peace of mind, success is being at peace with whatever you have. And you would notice there's something comes in when you're successful truly. You will find a detachment comes to you. It is like, supposing you're very fond of Cadbury chocolate. You know, it used to be our desire when we were children, I should buy Cadbury chocolates. You buy a lot of chocolates and eat. Supposing you have a cupboard full of chocolate, you will see your desire for chocolate is gone. Because you know you have enough. Same thing is with material. If you know that you have enough, your desire goes away. Success we want our children to achieve has to be defined in many non-material ways as well. It should include the ability to love and have compassion. Everybody talks about love. But do we really love? Love is that love which mommy takes care of a baby in her hand. A 6-week, 6 months old baby. How mommy loves that baby. Love is that love. How a guy who cannot stay without money and has got so much of money, yet how he loves his money, no? But notice, his money is rotting, being locked up. It's like clotted blood in your system. It will give you a heart attack. Love is capacity to feel joy and spread it to others. Give joy, give love, give kindness. Love is learning to give first and not take. Remember what? When somebody comes to give it to you, don't say, "Kya zarurat tha," which is not required. We do that, no? When you give somebody present, birthday present, 500 rupees. You kept it in your mind. And when that person comes to your birthday, you first say, "Where was the need? Why did you have to?" And then as soon as they go, you open the gift wrapping very excitedly and see underneath how much is the price. And some people scratch it off, no? You will go to the shop and find out how much does it cost. Don't say. Learning to receive with grace is as powerful as giving it with grace. Giving it with grace is not expecting anything in return. Receiving it with grace, you elevate the giver. You say, "Wow, this is exactly what I wanted." That person feels so nice and happy. It may be a little piece of paper where it says, "You are the best mother in the world." That's it. Won't it make you feel great? It may say, "You are the tallest father in the world." Won't you feel good? Every time you look at that daughter or son of yours, and you will stand straight, "I am the tallest father in the world," won't you? So, it is not what, it is how. The security of knowing that one's life has a purpose and there is a divine influence leading us towards a particular direction. All of us will become perfect. Maybe not in this life, maybe in several millions of lives, but we are all taking a journey towards perfection. We are all taking a journey towards Buddha, Jesus. Even Ibrahim bin Laden, he is also going towards the journey. But you and I have to believe in it and keep working at it. How can it not happen? And if you sincerely seek, how can it not happen now in this life? It will happen. Given in Bhagavad Gita. Verse 27, 29, chapter 4. Verse 29, chapter 5. A sense of connection to that creative power of the universe. We belong to the universe. You notice you and I say, "I belong to Patel family, Datta family, Singh family, Ghosh family." Do you say, "I belong to this earth? I belong to this universe"? Do you say, "This globe is mine"? You say, "Mine? How can it be? I'm so small." No, we are not small. Einstein, in his biography, has written, "When I shake my little finger, this universe shakes with it." And some other time when I will talk to you about quantum theory, you will understand. This was in link with Isinger and Heisenberg's work on quantum theory. People of the people, by the people. You are what your deep driving desire is. As your desire is, so is your will. As your will is, so is your deed. As your deed is, so is your destiny. This is from Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Chapter 4, verse 4.5. The 21st century belongs to India. And watch, today's budget will make you go higher. I don't know what the budget, I never look at them. I ask, I've got some good friends, I'll tell them, give me the summary. And they'll give me the summary. I already told them in the morning. Did you know that India was the wealthiest country in the globe? In this globe, did you know that? How many of you know that? Very few. But by the way, we were. How do I know? It's given in the world study, it's given in Bhagavad Gita. It's given by some of the top historian and philosopher of the world who quoted there. Subsequently, India went down and down. India is rising once again. I'll quote you that statement. It is given in verse 31, chapter 2, Bhagavad Gita. God talks with Arjuna. Those who want to see it, please come to my office before you leave. I'll make you read it. It says, at the time, this is exact words, okay? At the time, India was won over by the Western colonial power. She was, according to historian Dr. J.T. Sunderland, the wealthiest nation in the globe. This material wealth was created by Hindus' vast and varied industry, which, whether by utility or for its beauty, was never created in anywhere else in the world. The majority of the product of the globe was created in India, far better than anywhere else in the Western world. This is the exact chapter. It goes on to say, in the second chapter, let us remember, wrote the eminent historian and philosopher Bill Durant, a case for India. This was the article written in New York Times by Simon and Kuster, 1930. Even in 1930, we were the richest in the world. Did you know that? Look carefully. You all have read it, may have forgotten, but the moment I talk, you will remember. 16th century onwards, India was invaded by the invaders. Alexander the Great, the Mughals, Tamerlane, Genghis Khan, Babur, Akbar, Humayun, Aurangzeb, everybody raided our country. They took away lakhs and lakhs of elephants, horses and camels and mules laden with diamond, gold, silver and jewelry. Then came the Portuguese, came the Zoroastrians, came the French and the Britishers. 1750 onward, the Britishers were looting us. In 1833, Queen Victoria found great amount of wealth from India. She said, I want to rule India. At that time, she was on the way to sun never sets in my country. That's how great it was becoming. She sent Lord Macaulay to India. Go to India, study and come back and tell me how can I rule India. 15 months later, Lord Macaulay went back. And what did he say? I will just read it out in the next. Subsequently, India went down and down. India is rising once again. The economy of India is, as per Wikipedia, this what I've done is today morning, copy paste from Wikipedia. 10th largest in the world by nominal GDP and the third largest in the purchasing power, PPP. Did you know that? Today, this morning, we are the third largest in the purchasing power in the world. We are not small. We are not Kalus. You and I need to think big, feel big, then only our children will feel big. Generally, we give them the wrong message. We tell them, we are very rich. And the son goes and tells everybody else, can you afford it? You can't. I am very rich. You are poor. They get the wrong message. Now, the richness comes in your madhur vachan, in your kindness, in your love in your heart, in helping people, so that the people should come to you, to your children, like under a tree. Lots of insects, birds and animals go and take shelter. Our sons and daughters should be like them. They should give shelter to people. They should be human excellence. You and I, when we studying in this school, when we didn't study and we did masti, we were told by our teachers and parents, what? Don't want to study. Don't study. You'll be a tanga wala, rickshaw wala. Remember? Girls were told you'll become like Madhu or Bindu. Who is Madhu or Bindu? Maybe our cook, maybe our helper, somebody. What message did we get? Learning is for earning money. I'm going to support you. Who do you think? Tomorrow I'm going to die? We should hear these bhashans, no? Who's going to support you? Now, the words of Vedanta, Vivekananda repeating, learning is to become a good human being. Education is for character. Read this. Lord Macaulay, 1835, 2nd of February. He gave a presentation to the British Parliament. I have travelled across the length and breadth of India, and I have not seen one person who is a beggar, who is a thief. Such wealth have I seen in this country. Can you imagine? We didn't have one beggar, one thief. I put it on the internet. You can go through it, search for it. Lord Macaulay, you'll find it. Can you imagine? And all we have today is corruption, beggars and thieves. Why? I'll explain to you. Don't blame yourself. It's a very smart move by somebody. He goes on to say, such high moral values, people of such caliber, that I do not think we would ever conquer this country unless we break the very backbone of this country. Which is her spiritual and cultural heritage, and therefore I propose that we replace her old and ancient education system, our Gurukul system. And for if the Indians think by their induced new education system that everything which is foreign and English is good and greater than their own, they will lose their self-esteem, their own culture, and they will become what we want them to be, a truly dominated nation. Look at you and me today, all of a sudden Western attire. If I'm not wearing this suit, very few, including Indians, will look at me with respect. President of IB school wearing dhoti kurta. In the school I am in this. After the school I am in my Indian dress. Wherever I go, whether America or China, I am in my Indian dress. While travel I wear this, because otherwise if going to the customs I'll have trouble. It happened to me. I was carrying my Guruji. I was in my suit. He was in his garua kapda. I had a lot of trouble. Luckily, I had white passport. So that allowed me to take him through. Bhagavad Gita. I told you, I talked to you by memory. At the time India was conquered by Western colonial power, according to historian Dr. J.T. Sunderland, she was the wealthiest nation in the globe. This is chapter 1, verse 31, page number 246. Subsequently goes on to say, let us remember, wrote the eminent historian and philosopher Will Durant, in the case for India, New York, Simon and Custer, 1930. The India was the motherland of our race. That Sanskrit was the mother of Europe's language. Did you know that? The Spanish, the German, the French, Italian, they're all come from Sanskrit. That's how rich heritage we have. By the way, everybody can't be born Indian. You and I have done great work in our lives to be Indian today. Or else you have come from another country, have become now Indian. But you have done something great. We have. I don't know if you're aware of this. At the time Mama conceived, as the life force comes into the fetus, there are more than 6 million souls, as per Vedanta, is wanting to become that live fetus. And they're racing for the fetus. Only one wins. And by the way, your children won. By the way, you won. That's how you and I are here today. Many didn't. They might have subsequently. This is Vedantic truth. In our ancient rishis, they saw it through all samadhi states. Today, what Aryabhatta discovered, the distance from Earth to Moon, NASA in 2004 did a distance measurement. Difference was 12 kilometers. And NASA made a statement, possibly Aryabhatta is more accurate than us. This is how powerful India is. You and I need to do a little studies. Why is it we don't? I'll just explain. Don't blame yourself. This is God talks to Arjuna. He's going on to say that Sanskrit was the mother of Europe's language, that she was the mother of our philosophy, mother to the Arabs, much of our mathematics, mother to the ideals embodied in Christianity. Did you know this? That Christianity came into this universe, the largest religion of the world, because of Indians. Nobody knows this. Very few know that Jesus Christ came to India and lived here. Did you know this? That Jesus Christ, now this will shake you up, died here in India. He's left his body here in India. Can't believe, no? World Religious Authority, Houston Smith, recalls that in the 1950s, the eminent British historian Arnold Toynbee predicted that in the 21st century, India that conquered would conquer her conquerors. Sir, ma'am, parents, teachers, this is 21st century. We were conquered by the Britishers. We are going to be number one again. And as per Vivekananda and Paramahamsa Yogananda written down in their deep samadhi state, that India will never slide back again. It will remain number one. You and I are that Indian. Hold on to that truth. We have to work for it. That's why many mothers, I ask them, what are you doing? They said, at the moment I'm a housewife. I said, were you working before? Yes. Why aren't you doing it now? I'm thinking of it. Start. Country needs your brain. You don't know what hidden treasure inside of you. This is first one. Jesus and Moses are buried in India, birthplace of Abraham, the Hebrews. Can't believe it? I brought the book for you. It is there. It's true. Jesus lived in Kashmir. Suzanne, a Britisher. Jesus lived in India. Christian Holger, a German. When Jesus lived in India, Alan Jacob is an English. Have you realized all the foreigners are talking, but you and I know nothing about it? Isn't it sad? Lost teachings of Jesus. Lost years of Jesus. 17 years, it is written, Jesus lived in Kashmir and died. By the way, if you go to Wikipedia, Amazon.com, type Jesus lived in India, you'll have more than 24 to 30 books. Research scientists, educators, philosophers, historians are writing about this. Analysts. Get some of them, read a little bit. And I want you to show this.
What really happened to Jesus 2009?
There have been heresies that suggest that Jesus was rescued from crucifixion and escaped to lead a secret life in southern France. And there have even been people convinced that Jesus survived and traveled to the mountain kingdoms of Kashmir, where he died at the age of 80.
This is by BBC. He had a different name. Yeshua. Did Jesus die? He left his body in Good Friday, Easter Sunday. He resurrected himself. His body was taken away, if you read, by his disciples into a cave. I've got that film too. I want you to read this.
One such intriguing history is lying quietly since more than 1,900 years in this Kanyar locality of Srinagar.
This is Kanyar in
place
Srinagar.
Conceals one of the biggest mysteries of the modern world, the Rosable Shrine,
This is
burial
Rosal
place
Islam.
of Yuza Asaf.
He was named Zarat
This
Hazrat.
board displays an information about the book Tarikh-i-Azam, written in 1729 AD by Khwaja Azam Dedmari. This spot is famous as the resting place of a messenger. I have read in an ancient book that a prince from a foreign land arrived here and engaged himself in piety and prayers and became messenger of God for the Kashmiri people. What is intriguing is that since always this Yuza Asaf is considered to be none other than Jesus Christ himself, the Savior of mankind. A number of Sanskrit, Buddhist, Persian, Arabic and Kashmiri historical texts show that Yuza Asaf is another name of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is not the original name of the Savior. His original Hebrew name was perhaps Yeshua. His name in other languages are derivatives of this Hebrew name. According to these texts, Jesus did not die on the cross. He survived the crucifixion and migrated to live in Kashmir.
Go to YouTube. Type Jesus lived in Kashmir. 1 hour film by, you know who this film? Second one, first one is BBC. Is by Government of India. Film division. And can you imagine? No Indians know about it. Isn't it sad? And the foreigners are writing. You know, there was one, there was a gathering, one Italian and one Russian amongst other foreigners. They were telling me, why is it Indians don't like meditation? We like going to gym and working out. I'm not saying don't. I'm saying, but why aren't we meditating? Do you know today, Oprah Winfrey, in her shows on Fridays, she's saying, how can you start your day without meditation? Everybody's talking about it, but we Indian, I'm too busy. I got too many things to do. We need to spend a little time in investing in our consciousness, interior decoration. We spend a lot of time in exterior decoration, in our body, looking good, in our house, keeping it clean. What about inside? Think about it. Happy parents make happy kids. First and foremost, you are happy. You are not unhappy. If you've got a problem, an issue, take help. Maybe your wife, maybe your husband, maybe your children, maybe someone like in the school, a counselor, maybe coordinator, maybe the vice president principal, maybe me. Please come. Use your Sunday which is a holiday, H-O-L-I day. What does it mean? It's a H-O-L, my day, I day. Might sleep, wake up late, aloo paratha, TV breakfast, my cleaning, my shopping, my chores, my time with my family. I'm saying for the first half of the day, remove the I and put a Y there. Make it a holy day. First half. Who is Y? Y is you. You is who? Everybody, including your husband and wife, your children, your parents. You is your neighbor. You is the people. You is that stone, the animal, the plant, and you is God. When you do that, you will find rest of the day of the holiday, everything will fall in its place, which you were otherwise working very hard to achieve. Suddenly you will find it is already done. Somebody has already done it. You will be amazed. But that's how powerful this remote connection. When you know your daughter has gone to school, will come back and she wants to go start doing something. If you have time, won't you finish half of her work? Won't you do? And give a surprise to her? It's the same way the Supreme Divinity, God does it for you. Only thing you and I need to get on to that. You have to cross that wall. As per research, it is possible to predict how well children will do emotionally, socially, and academically. The key, how the proverb parents are doing. The children do not fare well if the adults are not taking care of themselves and their relationship. This is Caroline Cowan. There are two beautiful sayings which comes to my mind. If you want to know what would you become 15 years from today? Everybody, children, you, me. The first statement is, if you want to know what you're going to become after 15 years from today, watch your thoughts today. What you're thinking today is what you will become. Have you realized most of us are only thinking about swine flu, cancer, digestive disorder. I hope my child doesn't have an infection, cough and cold. Look carefully, what are we suffering from? Diabetes, spondylitis, cancer, cough and cold. Is that our life? You're thinking about sickness. You've gone to pay respect to somebody who is suffering with some chocolate and flowers, maybe cancer. You go, you're doing an act of kindness. But along with that, what do you walk out with? So sad. I hope I never get it. Why are you bringing yourself into the picture? This is a tendency of the human mind. You go to pay respect to your dearest friend whose husband has died in a car crash. You go down and you cry with the girl and you give her company, take care, and back of your mind you're saying, I hope it doesn't happen to me. Why should you think of yourself? And if the thought will come, it will come, I assure you. When it does, you say, shut up. You tell shut up who? Tell your mind, shut up. You have no place to wag your tail here. I am divinely protected. My husband, my wife, my children, my friends, my colleagues, my office, my school, my business is divinely protected. My car, when it goes to Bombay, a divine light is protecting it. Not even a tire flat will ever take place. I'm traveling more than, how young am I? How young am I? Man? Approximately. What do you think my age? Approximately. Just say any number comes to your mind.
40.
40?
45.
Ma'am, add 25 to that. I'm 70 plus.
Okay.
I don't look it, no? That's the ancient Indian Vedanta. You all do it, you will do it too. I've had terrible injuries in the Air Force, in the combat flying. I had 2 ejections. And Nehru ma'am will tell you, her husband is also a Jago pilot. Ejection meaning either you've got a spinal fracture or you're paralyzed for life or your legs are chopped off. I had terrible injury, but I don't have paralysis. I have knee injury. So whenever once in a while it comes up, it causes a little pain. But I notice it is becoming better and better. My orthopedic surgeon, the recent one, told me, if you sit for meditation, don't force your legs, sit on a chair and do it. I said, I can't do that. I have to sit. He said, then you are calling for your own funeral. You will not be able to walk. Your leg is so bad. I said, I don't know, sir. I am going to sit. God will protect me. You know, I am sitting for last 42 years. Nothing has happened to me. I'm still okay. In fact, I'm getting better and better. So have that feeling. Even if a doctor tells you, you say, okay, sure. I have a very good astrologer friend. He told me something. I said, I'll show you it is not going to happen. He said, you know what, my planets are greater than God. I said, okay. He told me also that on 13th of November 2013, that was 2 years back, I am going to die. Nobody is going to save me. He is with me about 24, 25 years. He has been telling me for last 9-10 years. 13th of November 2013, I am going to die. And 2012-13, I told him, you are not going to die. You are going to live for another 15 years. He said, I said, all right. You know, on 14th of November, I gave him a call. You know what he does? Every time he comes, you will see him often. He touches my feet. He said, you are my guru. You have saved me. I said, I haven't. God has. I only prayed. So learn to pray. Imagine a baby is growing up in a closed up room where you have provided with water, milk, food and shelter. But no mother, no father is talking, teaching anything. What will happen to the baby after 6 years? Like a vegetable, no? No input, food. Maximum the baby will do something. Now imagine the baby is growing up in a jungle. Our brain will shrink because no data, no input. Not for a computer. In this computer, if I don't use for 6 years, the hard disk capacity will remain 500 gigabytes, but not for a human brain. It shrinks. So in a human system, what you don't use, you lose. Supposing I keep this lid like this at 60 degrees angle for 15 days. I don't touch it. Apple or not, any good laptop will operate normally after 15 days. But if I tie up your hand or your baby's hand like this for 15 days, will you be able to use the hand? No. Muscle atrophy will set in. Dr. Nilumam will tell you. Same thing happens to the brain. Imagine a baby growing up now in your maidservant's home. What will she become? Like a maidservant. Imagine he's growing up in yours and my home. He'll become like who? Like you and me. Imagine now she's growing up in yours and my home, but you and I are doing intense research, discussions, studies, having early morning time with the children. Not cooking and running and jaldi karo. Have you realized today, I don't know if you're aware of this, that a huge percentage of the people in the world is suffering from prostate cancer. Do you know why? Research shows in the early childhood, mother and father used to say, jaldi karo, hurry up. Don't. You on the other hand, I know many mothers are smiling. You're doing it. Stop doing it. You just pray to Mother, Goddess, Divine Mother. You are her real mother. You take care that she does it on the way. I have also parents who were sitting here a few minutes back, had to go off for some work. She says, when my son comes home, he would not do anything till he finishes his homework, his research, his project work, completes the work, puts it in the bag and tells me like this, Mama, finished, now let's go and play. Mommy says, I feel so happy, I don't have to bother. How did it happen? It's the mother who makes the child, it's the mother who breaks the child. And the father is the backbone. Mahuna, don't worry, fikar na kar. Happy parents make happy kids. Be happy with yourself and with your partner. We tend to compare ourselves, our partners. We look at our defects. We look at the defects of our children also. And we say, my sister's daughter is writing. Why aren't you doing it? Why can't you become like that? We tend to say, don't do that. Look at the beauty, the strength within you. Make your relationship a priority. Schedule time together, make it happen. If a long night out is not possible, at least try for a regular hour here and there. Make yourself a priority. Take breaks for yourself. Find time for friendship. Friendship with who? Not with just a friend outside the family. What about friendship with your own wife, with your own husband? I often say this. When my husband dies, I cry for the rest of my life. I make a nice big frame, put garland every day and agarbatti and diya every day and say, cry, think about the good times. I'm saying your husband, your wife is alive now. Why don't you put the garland now? Every day. If you can't put the garland every day, at least you can say something nice, write something nice. Isn't it? Reflect upon it, ma'am. So, parents are role models for kids. Kids who see their parents happy all the time become happy themselves. Kids who see their parents unhappy become unhappy themselves. With that, I have still lots of material, but it's about 12:30. We shall call it a day. Shall have it again in the next month. Earlier I used to do it on every Saturday. Now it's a little tricky to get out every Saturday, but we'll do it certainly once a month. It's my promise to myself. We have to do it. Every Sunday we do 10 o'clock to 2:30. Those of you keen, only when it comes from your heart, that I feel like changing myself. There are many mothers who are sitting here right now and the fathers who are doing it. If you want to, come and discover your true potential. Come and see it. Find out. It's there inside. It only needs a little. There's somebody, I was doing a workshop in Citibank in New York. By the way, not boasting, I just wanted to know it. For 30 minutes of my consultation, I used to charge $240. I give it to our parents free today. But very few are using. You know, I was giving a talk. I was talking about why reading is so important in life. That was the talk. And how should you develop reading skill in children? So one of the father raised his hand at the end. Something happened in the beginning part of the talk. It was very nice. As I'm talking to you, I suddenly refreshed my memory, flashed back into my mind. I asked as we walked in, I said, hello, namaste, good morning everyone. By the way, how many of your fathers and mothers, how many of your fathers? So some hands went up like this, some hands went up like this. So I said, are you a father? So he said, yes. So I said, why is your hand like this? Why isn't it like this? One of the ladies said he is not sure. And the second thing funny happened at the same meeting. The father asked another gentleman, I want to read, I love to read, but I don't know why I don't feel like picking up the book. See, when a mobile rings, you pick up the mobile, no? Come whatever may, you pick up the mobile. Why can't the books ring? You can have a system where the books will do tring, tring, pick me up. The normal answer would have been something else. You can think about it. I said, sir, it does ring. But you need to do a practice to make you hear it. And if you go to a library, go to a bookshop. Really try it out with your family. Go to crossword, landmark, just aimlessly with a peaceful mind walk around. Just walk around without any intending to buy anything. You will suddenly find one shelf will say, come here. You go there, one book will say, pick me up. You pick up the book and you start. I had read 15 different Bhagavad Gita and I didn't understand anything about Bhagavad Gita. I couldn't understand it. Till one day in crossword, I was walking around, my Guruji was with me. And this Paramahamsa Yogananda, God talks with Arjuna, suddenly invited me. Said, pick me up. I picked up and I said, Bhagavad Gita, but I already have got 15. The book told me, the monkey take me. I not only took one, I took one for Guruji and there was another lady. She was a mother in the school. Child is now gone past age. I gave it to her too. And that book has changed lives. I understand Bhagavad Gita today. I can talk about it. I didn't understand anything. See, this will happen. Have you all read this book called Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy? If you haven't, pick up that book. It will change your life. That book picked me up. It happens to you when you go to buy your shoes. You say, oh, see the shoe, I chose it. You didn't. The shoe chose you. Think of it that way. And everything that happens to the world today, there is a connection. There is a connection that your children are supposed to be great. That you got a great wife, great husband, great parents. And most important, you got to greet yourself. Thank you very much. Keep smiling. Have a very nice day. Very nice weekend ahead. Thank you. Love you all.